What's going on, everyone? Jimmy like Halo here, back again, and today we're talking about, once again, kind of like two games. Basically, the original and then the remastered Pokemon type of thing. So we're talking about Shining Pearl, that's one I have. I've also played Brilliant Diamond. There's not major issues with this one in terms of being actually playable, like Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so at least that's good. However, as a remake, this game is not nearly as good because what these are, when they said they were making these faithful to the original, they pretty much meant that to a T, for better or for worse. Basically meaning these were not remakes of Platinum, which is like the definitive way to play Generation 4 Sinnoh, but a remake of Diamond and Pearl. And with Diamond and Pearl, they had a dex of 151, and it didn't have a lot of very good options, a variety of Pokemon. The infamous only having one other fire Pokemon available, which is only Ponyta if you didn't pick Chimchar as your starter. Kind of bad, and Platinum fixed that by having a larger dex and access to more varied Pokemon and types during the actual main story and game. So that was one big thing, but there's definitely other things along with that. That was just the main thing that really made the game a lot more tedious than it needed to be, or just unbalanced in weird ways. Not that it was hard, other than the Elite Four, but it was just weird. There's other things that you can add on to that, and this is definitely better in terms of like quality of life things, like not having to have an HM slave like Bidoof to have all your HMs. You can just use the little item at the top right, click the move, and there you go. You got Rock Smashed without having to put it on a Pokemon. So that's all well and dandy. So like if you never played it, this would definitely be a totally fine way to play the game. Especially if you didn't want to fork over $100 for freaking platinum, because old Pokemon games are overly ridiculously expensive, because of course they are. But if you did play this like I did, then you're like, it's okay, but it could be better, and you wish it was better. It just isn't. This also wasn't even made by Game Freak. I'm assuming they just oversaw its development. So I'm sure they're well aware that it wasn't fully like platinum and all the stuff it had. So as you can see right here, it was developed by Ilka. I don't remember what else they made. They made some other ports or something for the Switch or 3DS. But yeah, those are the developers of the game. It's like in the Let's Go engine, but like kind of like has Sword and Shield like animations. It's a good looking game visually. The chibi style, that's another thing that was controversial about this game, is trying to be more like traditional looking. Also has the map in here, which is cool. Trying to be more traditional looking. It made him like squished, and some people like it, some people don't. If it looked more like Sword and Shield, like visually wise, like more wide open areas, I think it could have looked like really cool. Because at the end of the day, it's supposed to be a remake, not so much like a remaster type of thing. It really depends who you ask about that, what they would prefer or not. But in my opinion, I definitely think it could have been cooler if it was more like wide scope. Like even to the degree of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, that was like in line with what X and Y had of being in that generation, remaking it to the match the like standard that X and Y set of how the world looks and all that with the 3D environments. And even like X and Y and Omega Ruby, I think, have more going on visually in the art department because they're like more technically impressive. Not like resolution, obviously, is lower resolution, but like in terms of what they're showing, like art style, that kind of stuff. Definitely an opinion. Not everyone will agree. Some people prefer it one way or another. But that's just what I think. As you can see, this is the physical thing. This is the case. Here's the cartridge. Nothing hidden behind like a lot of Switch games. Not that it matters. This is actually the Grand Underground map, which was kind of expanded upon in this game. It's actually pretty cool. How they have like overworld Pokemon walking around in the underground. Unfortunately, it's not like that in the actual overworld, which is weird because it was like that in Sword and Shield, and then clearly they can do it in this game because it's like that underground. but not on the surface is weird. I don't know. Anyway, moving on to what the game actually looks like, starting with Platinum. So, as you can see, unlike Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, the game will actually launch here, which is all well and dandy. Always like your games to actually play. No game-breaking problems with the DS cartridges, probably because they didn't have a specific RAM limitation thing in terms of like wearing out over time. This is just the intro, which is probably copyrighted, so I'm just going to skip along that. Really cool loading screen as usual. Go figure. Here's my save file. I should be at the survival area in the... I can't remember. What was the name of that island? Whatever, I'll get to... As you can see, this is a DS game, pixel art. I think this pixel art has aged really well. There's something about the Pokemon art style that just, to this day, is just... I don't know, it just, like, it doesn't look dated, at least not to me. I'm older, so maybe that's why, but I don't know, most people tend to agree that the pixel stuff looks pretty cool. And this is like the older DS one. Gen 5 kind of made it look even better. But yeah, this is what the boxes look like, and they didn't have animations like they do in the Gen 5 DS ones. Also, this Pokemon Center at nighttime music is amazing. All of Gen 4's music is really good, especially the original like sound font in the DS. Ooh. Anyway, but yeah, so this, obviously Gen 4 added a bunch more Pokemon on top of what was already added in Generation 3. First game on the DS, if you had a DS Lite, there was a slot on the bottom you could put your Game Boy Advance cartridge in, and then your DS one on the top, and that's how you would like transfer them. Play a little mini game and have to like catch them, which is pretty cool. What's also really cool about these DS games is on the 3DS, if you changed your DNS code, like the numbers, and you connected to Nintendo Wi-Fi, it would actually work to get the Pokemon events. So that's how I have these ones that you're seeing, because I didn't get this when it came out. I got it way later. So that's how I have Shaman, Celebi, and more than one of them, and these shiny beasts. It's not because I hacked it or anything. I legitimately got them through the Wi-Fi event that no longer exists. So if you're wondering why they're there and why there's multiple, that would be why. Anyway, yeah, I also played Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, and I think I transferred everything that was in Diamond and Pearl to Platinum. Because Platinum's the one I owned and played the most. Also, I think I transferred stuff from Heart Gold and Soul Silver into this, so that would also be why there's still more. I have so much stuff on this save file, it's crazy. But anyway, that's just looking at the Pokemon. Overall, really like the DS Pokemon games. Those I feel like they're the easiest to go back to. I'd say yeah, of course, Classic Yum Yum, my favorite. Ampharos is my favorite Pokemon. I don't know if I've ever said that in a video, but as long as he's in a game that I can use him in, it's a good Pokemon game. So anyway, as you can see, on the DS, unlike Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald on the Game Boy Advance, these even though you're 2D and like people are and text and whatnot, the actual buildings here are 3D rendered. Which is like a cool like in between. It's kind of similar to what Octopath Traveler does, where it's like a newer game that's like in a 3D world, but it's still like pixelated. That game looks different. It's not quite like the same art style. But I don't know, there's just something so charming about the way this looks, particularly even better in Gen 5, that I really just love about these classic era Pokemon games, as you could say, basically Gen 3, 4, and 5, or you could argue also Gen 1 or 2, or, well, I mean, in terms of like DS stuff. But anyway, point being, this is what the battle looks like. You would just tap the bottom screen, kind of the same thing with the 3DS games, really. Use whatever move you want. Attacks, has a little animation, and that's kind of that. Reason why Platinum is so good is this health bar used to be so unbelievably slow in Diamond and Pearl. It's way faster in Platinum. Unlike Diamond and Pearl, surfing is way faster than this. The dex, like I said earlier, is way better. The story is different because you're going after Giratina instead of Dialga Palkia. And I feel like it fleshes out the characters more in the context. Cyrus feels like an actual boss. It's like the definitive version of the game, as most RPGs have, kind of like Persona 5 or Royal is just like an objectively better version of the original game. Like, unlike Persona 3, like Fez and Portable having their own separate things, Pokemon Platinum essentially has everything that was good about Diamond and Pearl, but just makes it better. Same thing with Persona 5 to Royal, so that's the kind of thing we're talking about here. And I'm going to move on to Pokemon Shining Pearl and show you what that looks like. One more thing I wanted to mention is the DS bottom screen had the little Watch, I think that's what it was called. When you were a kid and you didn't have a phone, especially in 2006, and have a little doodle pad and a calculator and a step counter in game, especially for eggs, it's actually kind of useful in your little party thing. It was just a neat little bottom screen thing. This was like the Poke Radar thing, I think. This was a tap counter. I don't even. Some of these are kind of weird. This was useful for finding the Roman legendaries like Mesprit and Cresselia, I believe. And then you could use this to link up and trade as well. And you can actually calculate what's super effective with these type things here, which is pretty cool. Anyway, there's a Voltorb. Oh, that's a stopwatch. Okay, interesting. I don't even remember getting most of these things. I don't know what that one is either. And there's a time. Yeah, but that's about it. Just a neat little bottom screen thing they added. They pretty much evolved this as they went along with like Gen 5 and 6 having their own bottom screen things that kind of incorporated all the useful things. Like you don't need a calculator for this, even though it's kind of neat. But anyway, moving on. There you go, there's Shining Pearl echoing the original title screen, looking actually pretty nice. And then you don't select the save file in these ones, you just kind of click it and it goes in. Oh, I was in the middle of another Elite Four rematch. Let me just move on out of here. Anyway, while I'm here anyway, the Elite Four in this version, even though Platinum already changed it, this is based on the Diamond and Pearl, but then it made it like competitive, like item sets and ability sets and move sets. It's kind of crazy. It was not easy for me to beat this. I genuinely had to really try. The music also, like the remastered, I do like the originals. They're both good. I don't really have a problem. But yeah, anyway, moving on. But as you can see, the actual like 3D modeling and how good the Pokemon look, they look really solid in this version of the game. I have no complaints there. Like the art style is still good in battle. I wish Lucian actually looked like this in the overworld though, not just a little squishy guy. But anyway, I digress. Okay, you wouldn't believe how long that actually took just to lose an Elite Four match. I almost accidentally won. I don't know how, but yeah, this is what the game looks like. You're like a little chibi little guy. Nothing wrong with that. Kind of goofy, funny looking. I don't know if, like I said, don't know if this is copyright. Anyway, the music is actually good. I do like the new versions, also like the old versions, but yeah, as you can see, this is basically what the game looks like in comparison to the DS pixel art, whatnot. 3D models from this is a Generation 8 game. And these are actually transferred from Legends Arceus. That you could, because that was also Gen 8, so you could transfer between Sword and Shield, Legends Arceus, and this game all between, so I was just trading them a bunch, trying to do some goofy stuff. So that's what that's all about. Yeah, also the Grand Underground looks pretty cool in this version. It takes so long to get Spirit Tomb. It was a whole journey. It was not worth it. But this like building looks kind of cool, but it's more so imagine what it could be, not what it currently is in like the grand scope of things in terms of this game. It's like you just wish it was more. Like what it is isn't bad, you just wish there was a little bit more to it. I did like how they did the bare minimum really. They did the events for Shaman and Darkrai and Arceus, which is all cool to actually experience officially without an action replay or whatnot. But yeah, like all the locations are here exactly the same as Platinum, which I'll show in a second here. Yeah, as you can see, the map is exactly the same. Obviously, it's supposed to be the same game. A lot more detailed, though, on this. Not that it really matters. You're just trying to get to the certain locations. some quality of life. Like they added Palos Park, I think it was called, in bdsp, Ramanas Park, and then you could catch a bunch of older legendaries there. I don't even think I caught all of them because you need to trade with the other version, and you need to grind, and I mean really grind, the Grand Underground to get these gem things. It was so annoying, just to get those legendaries, but it was also kind of fun at the same time. I don't know, maybe I'm a masochist, but anyway. The point is, the definitive version of the game is not the new one. It is actually Platinum. Because a lot of the things that this game improved were not carried over in this for some reason. I don't know why. Granted, there is some things that this version has that this doesn't, such as the HM thing I was talking about. You just press R and you get this thing that pop up in the corner here, and that's all your HMs, and still got the timer and the calculator and all that random stuff. It's kind of weird just being in the corner when you have all these things when they're meant to be on like a bottom touchscreen like the original DS, but they are here. They look pretty much exactly how they were before, other than the new like little pixel models not being pixelated. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to say. I think I've yapped on for long enough. Essentially, what most people think, what I personally think, is that Platinum is the most fun way to play the game in its original definitive format, as opposed to this new version. But if you don't have access to this, or you like the EXP share for one thing, I actually do think that is a good thing. This one has it. The Elite Four are way harder than this, believe it or not, though, in a new game, which was kind of fun, but also frustrating. So I don't know. They both have their own things, kind of like Persona 3, with the original versus remake and all this stuff. Everyone has their own preferences and whatnot. I just wish this remake was an actual, like, fully definitive remake. More like akin to Platinum and how that game is, and how it has, full of all the features that it should have, unlike this. But at the end of the day, it's okay, because Pokemon's always fun. At least for me. But I like them both. They're both good. I play them both again and whatnot. But yeah, let me know what you think. Do you like Platinum more? Do you like OG Diamond Pearl more? Shining Pearl, BDSP more? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you like and what you dislike about them. If you like the video, leave a like. If you dislike the video, leave a dislike. I do like knowing whether people like the videos or not. But yeah, that's all about I have to say for this video. And thanks for watching. Bye.